the veteran point guard. He's from Anderson. Got her in free agency. This is a perfect opportunity now for Hailey as young point guard.
The 2025 WNBA draft was meant to be a night of celebration, a spotlight moment where rising stars took their place in the league's future. But instead of a smooth coronation of new talent, the night veered into chaos. Hailey Van Lith, a fiery and confident guard fresh off a strong college run, didn't just show up. She made an entrance and then took a stunning swipe at Caitlin Clark, the reigning face of women's basketball. What followed wasn't just drama, it was a full-blown spectacle that stunned fans, analysts, and players alike. And the wildest part, it wasn't just a bold statement, it was a careering misstep that humbled Van Lith before she ever stepped on a WNBA court. Imagine being at the Shed in Hudson Yards, New York City, buzzing with excitement. The 2025 draft was a big deal. Riding the wave of a record-breaking year for the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever superstar, had transformed the league in her rookie season, drawing massive crowds, spiking TV ratings, and landing lucrative broadcast deals. Her long-range shooting and playmaking had fans comparing her to NBA legends, and her impact was undeniable. The draft, featuring names like Paige Buchers and Van Lith, was poised to build on that momentum. But what happens next will leave you speechless. Van Lith, drafted 11th overall by the Chicago Sky, had a story that resonated with many. She'd fought her way through a nomadic college career, playing at Louisville, LSU, and TCU. Known for her grit and relentless energy, she was a player who thrived on proving doubters wrong. Her reunion with Angel Reese, her former LSU teammate, was a draft highlight, promising a dynamic duo in Chicago. But Van Lith wasn't content to just soak in the moment. She had a score to settle, rooted in a college rivalry with Clark that dated back to 2023. In that NCAA Elite Eight game, Clark torched LSU for 41 points, leaving Van Lith and her teammates in the dust. The image of Clark's "you can't see me" gesture became a viral taunt, and Van Lith hadn't forgotten. And this is where things go completely off the rails. During a pre-draft segment, Van Lith was thrown a playful question: start, bench, or cut 3 WNBA stars, Diana Taurasi, Sabrina Ionescu, and Caitlin Clark. It was meant to be a fun icebreaker, but Van Lith saw an opportunity. With cameras rolling and the crowd hanging on her every word, she chose to start Taurasi, bench Ionescu, and cut Clark. The arena fell silent for a split second before erupting in murmurs. Social media lit up like a wildfire. Fans couldn't believe she'd gone after the league's biggest star so brazenly. But here's what they're not telling you: Van Lith wasn't done yet. In her post-selection interview, Van Lith doubled down. She didn't mention Clark by name, but her words cut deep. She talked about grinding her way to the pros, implying some players had been handed fame on a silver platter. The jab was clear. Clark, the media darling, was her target. It was a bold move, one that screamed confidence but reeked of miscalculation. Van Lith thought she was crafting an underdog narrative, but she just poked the bear, and you'll never guess how it ends. The backlash was immediate and relentless, with fans tearing into Van Lith's comments as bitter and unnecessary. They flooded the internet with stats comparing her college career to Clark's. Van Lith's numbers were solid, nearly 20 points a game at Louisville, 18 at TCU. But Clark's were otherworldly. She'd rewritten the NCAA record books, becoming the all-time leading scorer while leading Iowa to back-to-back national championship games. Her stat lines looked like they belonged in a video game, and her impact went beyond the court, selling out arenas and boosting the WNBA's profile. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, the WNBA community piled on. ESPN analysts were floored. One called Van Lith's comments envy dressed up as confidence. Another pointed out the irony. Clark's rise had made the 2025 draft the second most watched in WNBA history. With 1.25 million viewers tuning in, by shading the player who'd put the league on the map, Van Lith wasn't just starting a rivalry, she was alienating the very fans and players she'd need to succeed. Even current WNBA stars took notice, with some quietly unfollowing Van Lith on social media. The message was clear: you don't come for the queen unless you're ready to back it up. But what happens next is truly insane. The real gut punch came from Clark herself, though not in the way you'd expect. While Van Lith's words were dissected online, Clark stayed silent. No tweets, no interviews, no petty clapbacks. Instead, she let a single moment speak for her. A cold, knowing smile caught on camera as Van Lith threw her shade. It was the same look Clark had worn in college when opponents tried to get under her skin, right before she buried them with a deep three. Days later, she was spotted at a youth basketball camp, coaching kids and signing jerseys for hours. The contrast was stark. Van Lith was chasing clout while Clark was building a legacy. And here's where everything changes. Just weeks after the draft, Clark made headlines by stepping onto the court during a Pacers game to toss out merch, stealing the spotlight in the process. No other rookie had ever drawn this much attention. In a preseason matchup, she reminded everyone why she's the league's biggest attraction, dropping 28 points, handing out 8 assists, and pulling down 5 rebounds. She hit deep threes and ran the offense like a veteran. Meanwhile, the cameras caught Van Lith still in warm-ups, waiting for her moment. Social media erupted, flooding timelines with memes of Clark cooking while Van Lith looked on from the bench. The numbers told the story. Clark's rookie season was historic, with records for most points by a rookie guard, most assists by a rookie, and the first ever rookie triple-doubles in WNBA history. She was named Player of the Month and Rookie of the Month in the same month, a first in league history. Van Lith, meanwhile, had yet to log a single professional minute. Stick around because this next part is huge. The WNBA community didn't hold back. An anonymous player reportedly said, "You earn your place with buckets, not by running your mouth on draft night." A veteran praised Clark for bringing more money and exposure to the league, urging Van Lith to show some respect. League executives knew Clark's value better than anyone. Ticket sales had skyrocketed over 300% since her draft declaration, and her merchandise accounted for nearly half of all league sales. New broadcast deals with ESPN and Amazon, quadrupling primetime exposure, were tied directly to her star power. Clark wasn't just a player, she was a one-woman economic engine. And if you think that's bad, just wait, because Van Lith's troubles were just beginning. Behind the scenes, the fallout was brutal. Reports emerged that multiple teams had passed on drafting Van Lith, wary of her attitude and potential to disrupt locker room chemistry. One scout, speaking anonymously, said she was talented but no Caitlyn, and teams didn't want drama over production. The Chicago Sky took a chance on her, banking on her connection with Reese to smooth things over. But even that came with pressure. Reese had navigated her own rivalry with Clark, learning to share the spotlight. Van Lith, it seemed, was still chasing it. And the final twist? It's something no one expected. The WNBA season opener pits the Sky against Clark's Fever, and it's already the most anticipated game of the year. For Van Lith, it's a chance to prove her words weren't empty. But the pressure is crushing. Every missed shot, every turnover, every moment she's on the court will be compared to Clark's performance. Fans are already hyping Clark to drop another 40, with memes predicting a humbling for Van Lith. Her draft night comments didn't just start a feud, they set an impossible standard for a rookie yet to prove herself. And by the end of this, you'll understand why this is so important. Clark, meanwhile, remains unfazed. She's not here for the drama or the headlines. She's in the gym, as shown by her going 50 for 54 from 3 on her birthday. Her focus is on championships, not sound bites. Her rookie season set records, fastest to 100 three-pointers, most assists in an all-star game, and countless franchise milestones. She's not just a star, she's the league's future. With teams reshaping marketing plans and cities bracing for sold-out games when she's in town, Van Lith's jab may have earned her a few retweets, but Clark is earning respect. One jumper, one pass, one packed arena at a time. For Van Lith, the road ahead is steep. She didn't just pick a fight, she picked the wrong one. The WNBA isn't college, where rivalries can thrive on trash talk alone. This is a league finally gaining traction thanks to Clark's hard work and humility. By trying to tear her down, Van Lith misread the room and painted herself as the antagonist, before earning the right to be a rival. Every game she plays will be a referendum on her draft night words, with fans and analysts ready to pounce on every misstep. You'll want to see this through to the end. Trust me. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. Caitlin Clark doesn't need to respond with words. Her game speaks louder than any interview could. Van Lith, on the other hand, has a lot to prove. When the Sky and Fever face off in May, the scoreboard will tell the real story. And that's where everything clicked into place. Because in the WNBA, talk is cheap, and Clark is already cashing checks with every bucket. Is the Van Lith Angel Reese matchup a threat to Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever? Let us know what you think in the comments section below.
Caitlin Clark is going to spend all of next season playing in NBA arenas. We've got rival fans being furious that, Caitlin Clark is that she's getting new arenas, getting moved to new arenas. You've got people saying that they're pushing the Fever. Why are they pushing the Fever?
Caitlin Clark isn't just making waves, she's flooding the league. WNBA franchises are practically abandoning their home courts like they've been hit with a fire alarm that says, Caitlin's coming. Teams like Atlanta, Chicago, Connecticut, Dallas, Las Vegas, and Washington, D.C. are all scrambling to larger venues just to handle the Clark impact. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is probably doom-scrolling, wondering why her name isn't splashed across those massive billboards.
One thing is very clear. The Indiana Fever is America's team. And boy, the haters, by the time this season is over, their heads are going to have exploded already. They're going to be so angry by the end of this WNBA season. I mean, it's going to be hilarious watching the daily meltdown.
Take a moment to absorb this. WNBA teams are willingly leaving behind their cherished home courts to make room for one rookie phenom. This isn't hype. This is history in the making. 6 different franchises are moving their games to NBA arenas, meaning every Indiana Fever road game is now played in a venue with at least 15,000 seats. This isn't about following a trend. It's because Caitlin Clark has the kind of draw that fills arenas like no one else in the league. While some teams are still playing in what feel like converted gymnasiums, Caitlin's impact demands NBA-level venues. That's the kind of territory reserved for superstars.
That there are 6 WNBA teams that have moved their games to NBA or NBA size arenas.
Let's not kid ourselves. These aren't just slightly larger gymnasiums. These are full-blown arena upgrades. The Atlanta Dream are stepping up to the State Farm Arena. The Chicago Sky, yes, the same team that once treated Angel Reese like the second coming of Michael Jordan, are now dialing it back with 2 games at the United Center. And it's not for Reese, it's for Clark. Because unless the Indiana Fever are in town, Reese might as well be playing at a local community center. Even the Aces, with their glitz and trophies, are booking the T-Mobile Arena just to prepare for the Fever frenzy.
Caitlin Clark, the people's champion! Let's get it!
That's a deep one.
Bang!
Just announced that Caitlin Clark and the Fever will be playing 41 of 44 games this year on national TV. They coming to watch the other girl, right?
Right? Bang!
Teams are moving their games with the Fever to NBA arenas so they can sell more tickets. How about that?
Bang!
Angel Reese attempted a 3 this deep. I think she might dislocate her shoulder.
Bang!
You want some butter with that bread? Butter. Butter.
Butter pecan! Bang!
It's honestly hilarious when you think about it. Just last season, these teams were all acting like Caitlin Clark was just another rookie. We don't need her, they boasted, chests puffed. The league is fine without her. And now, here we are. The same teams are practically begging for court space big enough to accommodate the Clark crowds. It's not just about rolling out the red carpet anymore. It's like tearing up the road and rebuilding it with gold bricks.
Atlanta Dream moved 1 game to the State Farm Arena. Chicago Sky moved 2 games to the United Center. Home of the Bulls, home of the Blackhawks. In Atlanta, by the way, that's the home of the Hawks. Connecticut Sun moved 1 game to TD Garden. Home of the NBA Celtics. That's going to look really freaking cool on TV.
Special shout out to Connecticut. This franchise doesn't even have an NBA arena nearby. So what do? They pack up and move the whole operation to Boston. Yep, new state, new zip code, new everything, just to make room for Caitlin Clark. That's not just special treatment, that's royalty-level hospitality. Can you imagine if Angel Reese tried to pull the same stunt? They'd probably laugh her all the way to some suburban middle school gym.
We're now at the stage where Caitlin Clark is probably going to be responsible. I'm not joking when I say this. For like games where she plays in are probably going to be responsible for like 30% of the attendance in the WNBA.
And it doesn't stop there. The Dallas Wings and Washington Mystics are also moving their Clark matchups to larger venues, complete with extra seating, luxury suites, and, let's face it, bigger profit margins. This isn't a coincidence, it's strategic planning. When Caitlin Clark rolls into town, it's not just a game, it's an economic boom. One ESPN analyst even dubbed her the WNBA's walking GDP boost. He meant it as a joke, but honestly, the numbers speak for themselves.
There are teams that are going to average 3,000 fans at games, but have 17,000 fans when Caitlin Clark shows up to town with the Fever.
Now, let's check in on the critics. The same ones who were screaming from the rooftops that Clark was overhyped have suddenly gone awfully quiet. Why? Because their arenas are packed, their jerseys are flying off the shelves, and their TV ratings are through the roof. All thanks to the player they once claimed didn't matter. And as for Angel Reese, she's still stewing over her not-so-unrivaled championship, watching Caitlin dominate the spotlight, the schedule, and the arenas.
The Phoenix Mercury play in the NBA arena. The Seattle Storm do. There are 13 WNBA teams, 7 already playing NBA arenas. The other 6 are moving their games to NBA arenas versus the Fever. You can't acknowledge that she is the needle mover. Yeah.
Before Caitlin Clark hit the WNBA, the average game barely drew 6,000 fans, about as many as you'd see at a high school pep rally. But Clark? She's effortlessly filling 20,000-seat arenas like it's no big deal. That's not just an increase, that's triple the usual turnout. These fans aren't there for the home team, they're showing up for her. WNBA execs are practically falling over themselves, openly admitting they'd give up home court advantage just to cash in on the Clark phenomenon. That's not hype. That's a walking ATM and sneakers.
I believe there was actually a debate on who was Rookie of the Year last year. Imagine being that delusional. Bang! People need to understand she saved this league. Powder, there's no TV deals, no ad sponsorships, heck, no shoe deals for you, Angel Reese, no McDonald's money. The league losing millions of dollars each year. She saved them from bankruptcy. Time to be grateful. Bang! 93% of her games on national TV. She's like that. Bang!
Let's talk numbers. WNBA attendance shot up by 48% last season, and unless your math is off, that increase has Caitlin Clark's name written all over it. Teams aren't just scheduling her games, they're building their entire season around her appearances. The Las Vegas Aces, the same team that snickers whenever Clark's name trends, have quietly moved multiple games to the T-Mobile Arena. Why? Because they know the Caitlin effect is the real MVP. All the eye rolls and cryptic tweets aside, even they can't deny she's the main attraction.
Now we've got some more information on the games and some perspective. Here we are. Indiana Fever put this out, man, just a few minutes ago. All eyes on us. 41 of our 44 games are on national television.
Now, here's where it gets wild. Caitlin Clark has secured 41 nationally televised games this season. That's not just more airtime than any other player. It's more than entire franchises have had in years. We're talking ESPN, ABC, CBS, NBA TV. Every network wants a piece of the Clark action. It's a broadcast feeding frenzy, and trust me, no one's settling for leftovers.
The most television games in franchise history, the most national television games in for a single team in WNBA history. How about that?
Last season, the Indiana Fever were basically an afterthought. They were the dusty book collecting cobwebs on the bottom shelf, overlooked and forgotten. But with Caitlin Clark in the mix, they've transformed into the league's golden child, now the star attraction in every primetime slot. The same team that struggled at the bottom of the standings is now the crown jewel of WNBA coverage. And you know that's stinging players like Angel Reese. For years, they assumed the throne was just waiting for them. But then Caitlin Clark shows up, shattering records, drawing massive ratings, and showing off a range that leaves everyone in the dust. Suddenly, it's her show, and the spotlight's all hers.
Final. Cup championship bound, baby! Woo! Big up, baby! Woo! The year, man.
It got a little crazy out there, but we made it through.
We're gonna keep stacking the day, so see you in the championship.
Let's go!
June 17th wasn't just another game, it was sweet revenge. Think back to May 30th, when J.C. Sheldon and the Connecticut Sun left Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson hurt on the court, and those cheap shots went ignored. Well, the Indiana Fever didn't forget a thing, and when Sheldon jabbed Caitlin Clark right in the eye during the rematch, it lit a fire. What followed proves exactly why you don't come for Clark's crew. Because Sophie Cunningham was locked in and ready to unleash the most glorious flagrant foul you'll ever witness.
It was chippy the last time these two teams faced off too. Sophie Cunningham suffered her ankle injury in that game, but in addition to that, she actually had part of her front tooth knocked out. She made contact with J.C. Sheldon as Caitlin Clark knocks down the triple.
But what people don't talk about enough is how hard you have to work to be able to be that good. All the hours that she's spent perfecting her craft.
Retreating, firing, and hitting.
So she can do that.
On Indiana arguing the call.
I mean, step back, you're late. She almost looks you in the eye.
Picture this. May 30th, Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun. And everything unraveled for the Fever in the worst way imaginable. The game began like any other, two WNBA teams battling for position. But the Sun brought a level of physicality that pushed past fierce and into outright reckless. From the opening tip, you could feel the tension crackling through the air.
Can we talk about the physicality for a second? Two players on the Indiana Fever got injured last night by the same player on the Connecticut Sun, and that was J.C. Sheldon. And I tweeted about it. She was playing so reckless. I'm fine with players playing aggressive, but there is a thin line between playing aggressive and playing reckless. When you dive for a ball, you don't land on somebody's leg. She landed on top of Sydney Colson's leg, and her leg got stuck and literally twisted around. Both injuries, both Sydney Colson and Sophie Cunningham, were contact injuries.
Sophie Cunningham went down first after what looked like a deliberate hit. The contact was brutal, way too much for a routine basketball play. Then Sydney Colson took a shot in another shady sequence that left everyone wondering what was really going on out there. The kicker? J.C. Sheldon was at the center of both plays, bringing an aggressive edge that made your blood absolutely boil.
They weren't non-contact. They weren't ACLs. They weren't Achilles. They were contact injuries caused by the same player. And this kind of physicality that the WNBA they brag about. They say it's always been a physical league. That's just the heart of the It's not good basketball. And we've seen so many injuries. Paige Becker's out with a concussion. Rakia Jackson was out with a concussion. All of these injuries are contact plays. We've seen Caitlin Clark last year get chucked to the ground. We saw Angel Reese get clothesline chucked to the ground. The players continue to do it because the refs are allowing them. Why wouldn't you keep doing it if you're a physical player?
Here's where the college history heats things up. Sheldon and Clark had been clashing since their Iowa versus Ohio State battles. Back then, Sheldon made it her goal to rattle Clark every time they shared the court. She shadowed her non-stop, threw bumps on every screen, and never missed a chance to talk trash during dead balls. This wasn't just a game anymore. This was personal.
Her mortal enemy took out a player. J.C. Sheldon. Caitlin Clark's mortal enemy, J.C. Sheldon.
The refs that May Day let it all slide, like they were watching a different game than the rest of us. Hard fouls, no whistle, dangerous plays, ignored. Clark had to stand by as her teammates went down while Sheldon skated by without even a warning. With every possession, the frustration grew. The Fever battled to the end, but fell 85-83. More than just a loss, they were down two key players, injuries that could have been avoided if the officials had done their job. Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson were out, and their absence hit hard in the games that followed.
This is a reckless play. This is reckless. It is dangerous. And this angle makes it look even worse. It is dangerous. Like, Sid Colson is between her and the ball. Sid Coulson is in fact between JC Sheldon and the ball, and she dives through her knee. It wasn't even called as a foul. It wasn't even called as a foul.
You could see it in Clark's eyes after that loss. The way she stared down Sheldon in the handshake line. The edge in her voice during the post-game interview. This wasn't finished. Not even close. The Fever would remember every detail. Who threw the hits, who got hurt, and how the refs just let it all slide. June 17th couldn't come fast enough. And when it did, Clark was back from her quad injury, fresh off a dominant win over the undefeated New York Liberty, and locked in to face the Connecticut Sun again. It was just her second game back after 3 weeks off, but you could tell she hadn't forgotten a thing. The way she stepped onto the court, the way she stared down the sun during warm-ups. This wasn't just another game, not for her.
She just texts me. She never texts me during the game.
All right. Here is Clark splashing home a three from way downtown. Kelly escorting her back to the bench.
JC Sheldon is there on it with her hand in her face.
The game tips off with that same thick tension hanging in the air. Sheldon's on Clark from the jump, guarding her like everything's on the line, way too close for comfort. She's glued to Clark on every possession, throwing bumps on screens, doing all the little things that turn basketball into a brawl. It's the same reckless intensity that sidelined Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson back in May. And everyone in the arena can feel it. Something's coming.
And Caitlin Clark are talking to the official. They're both going at it saying, hey, oh, there's a little extra right there. Uh-oh. And Marina steps in to protect JC.
Third quarter hits, and here comes the moment that flips everything. Clark is bringing the ball up court when Sheldon steps in to defend. She reaches in for what looks like a steal, but her finger goes straight into Clark's eye. The contact is instant and impossible to miss. Clark's head jerks back from the impact. You can see it clear as day.
Third quarter we go. They're trailing by 10. Keep an eye on her and JC Sheldon. Clark trying to back her down.
Here is if Clark is okay.
Sheldon. That was Clark hitting her in the face. Clark is upset about that. Then everybody's upset about that. Marina Mabry comes in. She decks Clark. Tempers flaring on both sides.
Clark instantly grabs her face. Pain and fury flashing across her expression as she realizes what just happened. She's squinting, trying to blink it out, but you can tell this is more than just physical. She knows exactly who did it. The same player who took out her teammates is now coming for her, using the same dirty tactics that slipped by the refs last time. So Clark does what any true competitor would. She pushes back, literally shoving Sheldon away after taking a finger to the eye. It's instinct, pure and simple. Anyone would do the same. The crowd explodes because they all saw it. But unbelievably, the refs are about to make things even worse.
Hey.
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
Oh, and Marina Mabry's going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabry is going to get ejected.
Well, they're going to go and look at it. Look at Mabry. She's got a scar on one side, a scratch on one side of her face, a scratch on the other side. It's not from the game today. I asked her about it. She's always in the mix. There's a lot of contact here. There's a scrape across the face. That's what Clark didn't like.
Clark standing there, clutching her eye, clearly the victim of a dangerous play. Yet the officials reach for their whistles. The arena erupts in confusion and outrage. Fans are pointing to the replay boards, where the eye poke is plain as day, but the refs aren't budging. Instead, they hit Clark with a technical foul for pushing back after getting jabbed in the eye. A technical foul for defending herself. The call makes zero sense to anyone watching. Clark had just dropped 32 points in her first game back from injury, and now she's being punished for reacting to the same player who took out her teammates. The message this sends? That targeting Clark comes without consequence, and if she stands up for herself, she's the one who'll pay the price. But that eye poke? That was just the spark. Because Marina Mabrey saw it all go down, and she was about to raise the temperature to a whole new level.
Take another look as we try to figure out what exactly went down. So you see her get hit in the face. JC Sheldon doesn't like that, and everybody on the team doesn't like it. Marina, trying to have her teammates back, pushes her down. You see a little bit of drama all the way around. Tina, Charles, Clark, and Mabrey, they received technical fouls. Sheldon received a flagrant 1 foul.
Right after Clark gets slapped with that bogus technical foul, Marina Mabrey decides she's done watching and takes matters into her own hands, in the worst way imaginable. Clark is still trying to shake off the eye injury when Mabrey storms over and does something that leaves everyone in the arena absolutely stunned.
That's what Clark didn't like. Then Mabrey came in with a bump.
And Mabrey's day is almost assuredly going to be done. But both teams.
This wasn't basketball contact. This was straight up assault. Mabrey body-checked Clark like it was a hockey game, not the WNBA, sending her crashing backward to the court. The hit was blatant and completely uncalled for, so obvious that even the most casual fans could see it for what it was. Clark hit the floor hard, stunned, and you could see it in her face. The shock of realizing that yet another Connecticut Sun player had just taken a cheap shot at her.
And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor. Now let's watch this in slow motion. Here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one. Going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's gonna have to start wearing goggles. And then Caitlin pushes her off of her, like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey, bat out of hell, chucks Caitlin Clark to the ground.
The entire Fever bench leaps to their feet because they've just watched their star player get assaulted right in front of the referees. Players are pointing at Mabrey, yelling at the officials, pleading for someone in stripes to finally step in and do their job. The crowd is losing it, roaring with disbelief as this unfolds right on their home court. Coach Stephanie White is on the sideline, completely unhinged, screaming at the refs who are somehow still missing what's happening right in front of them. She's waving her arms, pointing straight at Mabrey, desperate to make them understand that this has gone way past normal basketball contact. White knows exactly what's happening. Clark just got targeted again, and the officials are about to blow it. Again.
Now after this, you guys, of course, the referees are going to review the play because that's a lot of contact going on right there. That's a lot of unnecessary contact. That's a lot of non-basketball contact happening during this play, right? So the 3 referees that I like to say, they got them straight out of Sephora because I don't think these referees have ever refereed a professional basketball game in their life. They took these referees, they were at the monitor, they looked at it for, I'm not even exaggerating, you guys, like 15 minutes. 15 minutes they are watching this play over and over.
The refs hand Mabrey just a common technical foul, the exact same penalty they gave Clark for simply defending herself after getting poked in the eye. Let that sink in. Clark gets jabbed in the eye and pushes back. Technical foul. Mabrey straight up body checks Clark to the floor in retaliation. Also a technical foul. The math doesn't add up, and everyone in the arena knows it.
The announcers here are saying, of course, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected because that was unwarranted. She literally came out of nowhere and chucked Caitlin Clark. There should be a flagrant 1, of course, on JC Sheldon because she swiped her and hit her in the eyeball. Whether it is intentional or not, you can still have a flagrant a flagrant foul called on you, whether you are trying to intentionally hurt somebody or not. But this is what they called, you guys. This is what they called. Caitlin Clark, Marina Mabrey, Tina Charles were assessed with technical fouls on Tuesday. Caitlin, Marina, and Tina Charles. Technical fouls. That's it. Technical fouls. That's it. And JC Sheldon was assessed with a flagrant 1 foul, and no players were ejected.
White goes off in the post-game press conference. When the officials don't get control of the ball game, when they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long, this is what happens. She's had it. She's done watching her players get targeted while the refs just stand there and let it slide.
When the officials don't get control of the ball game, when they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. All season long. It's not just this game. It's been happening all season long. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete. And they're going to have their teammates' backs. It's exactly what you expect, right? Out of fierce competition. So I started talking to the officials in the first quarter, and we knew this was going to happen. You could tell it was going to happen. So they got to get control of it. They got to be better.
The message couldn't be clearer now. The officials weren't going to protect Clark, so her teammates would. Sophie Cunningham had been watching it all unfold from the bench, and she was about to send a message no one would forget. Nobody messes with her teammate. Final minute of the game. Fever's cruising with an 87-70 lead, and JC Sheldon gets the ball one last time. The clock is winding down, but Cunningham isn't thinking about the score anymore. She's thinking about May 30th, when she went down hurt. She's thinking about Clark getting eye-poked with no real punishment. She's thinking about Mabry body-checking her teammate to the floor.
So now let's talk about Sophie Cunningham. At the end of the game, JC Sheldon is going for a fast break layup and Sophie Cunningham is running with her. And I remember in my head, like it happened in a split second and I said, oh, let's see. Let's see what happens here.
Cunningham remembers everything from that brutal May game. Her own injury, sitting on the bench in pain while Sheldon strutted around untouched. She remembers the refs turning a blind eye as her teammates took hit after hit. And now, here's Sheldon driving to the basket. Cunningham sees her shot, and she's not about to let it pass.
Sophie commits a hard foul on JC Sheldon. Again, as JC Sheldon is going up for a layup, Sophie bear hugs her and takes her to the ground. What I will say is Sophie did not grab her and throw her to the ground. She didn't body slam her. She didn't do anything, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm biased here, but I'm going to give you guys my straight up honest opinion on this. She bear hugged her, took her to the ground. Yes, it was intentional. It was absolutely intentional.
She lines up Sheldon and delivers the most satisfying, flagrant foul you'll ever witness. Cunningham grabs her hard, wraps her up, and drags her to the floor. This wasn't a basketball play. This was payback. This was justice. This was Sophie Cunningham making it crystal clear. You don't mess with her teammates. The officials hit Cunningham with a flagrant 2, and she's automatically ejected. Sheldon and Lindsay Allen get tossed too for jumping into the fight. 3 players ejected, but the message was delivered. Justice finally hit the court.
It was, to me, payback for what was happening the entire game. But she did it in a way that she wasn't going to injure JC. She was just making it known, like, if the refs aren't going to handle it, I will handle it. We'll take care of it, but this is not what you're going to do when you come into our house. It was an intentional foul. It was a hard foul. She brought her down. But with that, you guys, JC Sheldon got up and she was ready to go. So as you guys can see in this video, a whole scuffle breaks out. Sophie and JC are going after it. Both teams are running over, trying to break it up. It kind of goes into the fan section a little bit.
Clark finishes with 20 points and 6 assists, leading the Fever to an 88-71 win that felt like way more than just a victory. Natasha Howard notches her 50th career double-double with 16 points and 12 rebounds. Kelsey Mitchell chips in 17 points. It was a full team effort, but everyone knows what truly mattered.
A rare miss at the rim for Aaliyah Boston, the league's top field goal percentage shooter in the WNBA, but it's Boston who comes up with the steal and the find to Howard. Clark working on the rookie. Clark on the drive. Hang, shot too strong. There's Howard to clean up.
And Clark working off the ball, comes off the stagger,
Third year in her WNBA in terms of setting up her teammates. Clark behind the back beat inside. 2 more for Howard.
This wasn't just about beating the Sun. This was the Fever showing they won't be bullied, they won't back down, and they always protect their own. The win sends them to their first ever Commissioner's Cup final, but more importantly, it sends a message to the entire league. If you come after their players, you'd better be ready for the consequences.
The Indiana Fever fans were chanting, "Sophie, Sophie." Sophie's jersey is going to sell out tonight. She's going to be in the All-Star game tonight just from this one play because she was standing on business. It wasn't a dirty play. It was an intentional foul and it was meant to send a message. It turned into a scuffle and I don't think anybody wanted that.
The Fever got their revenge after that brutal May 30th loss. Clark got her justice after the eye poke and the body check. Sophie Cunningham became a hero for stepping up when it mattered most. Sometimes, the officials won't protect you, but your teammates will. That's exactly what happened on June 17th, when the Indiana Fever showed the basketball world they're not backing down from anyone.
Oh, and Clark just took it away. It's a 2-on-1. Clark, bounce pass, pretty fine, and Mitchell won't miss from there.
This game proved the Indiana Fever aren't just talented. They're a family that fights for each other when it matters most. When the officials won't protect their players, teammates like Sophie Cunningham step up and handle it themselves. That's what real loyalty looks like in professional sports. Now, the Commissioner's Cup final awaits on July 1st against the Minnesota Lynx. And after watching how this team rises through adversity and stands united, 2025 is already looking brighter for Fever fans. Remember this moment the next time someone says loyalty doesn't exist in pro sports, because Sophie Cunningham just proved them wrong. If you ride with the Fever, drop a comment below, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a moment.
I can't take the WNBA serious anymore. They hate their only cash cow in Caitlin Clark. This is the only league on earth where the players have dated each other. Now they fine Caitlin Clark and Ryan Howard $30 a piece for just jawing at each other on the court.
The WNBA has once again revealed its double standards, this time fining Caitlin Clark for the supposed offense of defending herself in a heated moment with Atlanta Dream's Ryan Howard. In a league that says it empowers strong women, it seems that strength is only acceptable under certain circumstances, ones that shift depending on the player involved. This episode highlights the league's uneven discipline and disturbing tendency to penalize passion while turning a blind eye to deeper issues in women's basketball.
You know, there'll be the big talked about moment, Ryan Howard, Caitlin Clark, jawing back and forth. But there's another example, right? Clark in that moment saying, I'm not scared of you. No, I'm not afraid. Then give her a sarcastic thumb.
The tension boiled over during the Indiana Fever's rematch against the Atlanta Dream, with emotions flaring as both teams fought fiercely for dominance. Just 2 days earlier, the Fever had endured a tough loss to Atlanta, and Thursday night's showdown at State Farm Arena offered a shot at redemption. With 17,044 fans filling the arena, many paying top dollar to see Caitlin Clark in action, the atmosphere was electric and primed for high-stakes drama.
What was that about, man? She was saying, don't do that again. But I'm trying to figure out why she gets so mad. I guess because of the push right there. Kind of like a get off me a little bit. But she's holding it right there. Look at the hand checking, right? We got the hand checking going on the hip. Putting it on the chest. How you hand checking? You can't hand check. This isn't the 80s. What are we doing? Hold on, man. She's hand checking right here. Then Caitlin trying to get by, right? But her hand's still there.
What unfolded was both a showcase of elite basketball and a telling snapshot of the WNBA's current political landscape. In Indiana's hard-fought 81-76 win, Caitlin Clark squared off in a tense moment with Atlanta's Ryan Howard. It was a flashpoint that would shape not only the game, but also the league's reaction to competitive intensity. The confrontation captured exactly what fans crave from top-tier athletes in a high-stakes matchup: grit, passion, and the raw emotion that makes basketball so thrilling to watch.
But I just don't know what it is about giving Caitlin Clark foul calls that has the referees so averse, but calling more on her. And basketball is so mental. Like, when you get into someone's head, it can really mess the rest of their game up. It can mess the momentum up.
Howard, eager to assert control and possibly unsettle the league's most high-profile player, initiated contact that pushed past the usual limits of basketball physicality. But rather than retreat or look to the officials for help, Clark held her ground with the trademark toughness that's defined her career. In a moment that should have been praised as a display of elite competitiveness, Clark stared Howard down and delivered a line that captured her fearless spirit perfectly. "I'm not scared of you."
And in case you're wondering what Caitlin Clark said just there was, "I'm not scared of you." She's going to have to wear a hard hat this season. I mean, seriously. The league is going to try to take her out in every game.
The crowd roared in response to this raw display of competitive spirit. Exactly the kind of energy that makes professional sports must-watch entertainment. This was basketball in its purest form. Two top-tier athletes pushing each other to the edge, neither backing down. It was the kind of moment that builds iconic rivalries and ignites fan passion. But in today's WNBA, standing your ground apparently comes with a cost. What followed exposed everything flawed about the league's current stance on discipline and player management. Instead of applauding Clark's intensity or acknowledging the moment as a natural part of the game, the WNBA chose to penalize her reaction to Howard's aggression. The $30 fine may be minor financially, but the message it sends is far from small. This decision raises serious questions about what the WNBA truly expects from its players. The league brands itself as a platform for strong, fearless women who won't be pushed around. Its marketing celebrates empowerment, grit, and elite-level toughness. But when one of its biggest stars demonstrates exactly that, in real time, the league responds with a fine and a quiet rebuke.
I did really enjoy seeing the return of Trash Talk Caitlin Clark, because sometimes people forget, it's a fun little extra add-on of her game. She and Ryan Howard got into it a bit early, where Ryan Howard was like, "You're in Atlanta," and Caitlin was like...
The timing of this punishment speaks volumes. All season long, Caitlin Clark has faced relentless physicality from opponents more focused on testing her toughness than playing clean basketball. From Angel Reese's ongoing social media jabs to the repeated hard fouls and tense encounters that have become routine for Clark, she has consistently responded with professionalism and restraint. Yet the moment she finally asserts herself, choosing words over retaliation, the league decides she's crossed some arbitrary line. This kind of selective enforcement sets a troubling precedent for how the WNBA treats competitive fire. The league seems content to let months of social media sniping, passive-aggressive comments, and orchestrated drama play out unchecked. Players are free to throw shade, post cryptic digs, and subtly chip away at each other's reputations with no pushback. But when one player delivers a direct, honest statement in the middle of a high-intensity game, that's what earns a fine.
Now fans are petitioning for the All-Star game to not be held in Indiana because it's clearly not safe. There's a petition for Dave Portnoy to never be able to attend WNBA games. There is a petition for Caitlin Clark to be arrested. I'm not joking when I say this. Arrested. This is something that has also gone viral on social media. And I'm only bringing this up because the WNBA pays attention to what's going on social media. So if they're paying attention to it, I'm following what the league is saying. What the precedents that the league is setting, I'm following that because I'm covering the league. If they're going to pay attention to viral things on social media, I guess we have to.
The most concerning part of this situation isn't the fine itself. It's what the fine symbolizes in the larger picture of WNBA discipline. The league has shown a clear pattern of inconsistent enforcement, where the consequences seem more influenced by which players are involved than by the nature of the incidents. This double standard creates a two-tiered system that erodes trust and sends mixed signals about what kind of behavior is actually acceptable. Take, for example, the stark difference in how the league responded to Clark's straightforward, in-game exchange with Howard compared to its handling of other ongoing issues. Angel Reese has spent months waging what amounts to a sustained campaign against Clark, using social media to rehash old plays and stir up drama. Despite this being a persistent distraction, there's been no fine, no warning, and seemingly no concern from league leadership about how this behavior reflects on the WNBA. The message is loud and clear. Passive aggression, online feuds, and performative controversy are fair game, but speaking directly and competitively on the court is somehow beyond the pale. This upside-down disciplinary approach favors false harmony over real competitive edge, fostering a climate where players are subtly pushed to air grievances online instead of resolving them face-to-face, like true professionals.
The Indiana Fever faced off against the Chicago Sky in a blowout victory.
And going in on the Chicago Sky.
They're not going to be pushed around anymore. Even in the midst of all the talk yesterday, you have a Sophie Cunningham, you have a Natasha Howard, and you have a DeWanna Bonner. There's a level of credibility, there's a level of toughness.
Caitlin Clark, in the post-game interview, she made it a point to say, this is not, please don't blow this out of proportion.
The entire WNBA seemed to freeze in time this weekend. The Indiana Fever had just secured a defining victory, but the real fireworks came when DeWanna Bonner grabbed the figurative mic and set social media ablaze, putting Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky firmly in their place.
She currently funked herself with Charlotte Webb after she shared a post last night of pretty much somebody congratulating her and going in on the Chicago Sky.
Right in the heart of the storm, Angel Reese was catching strays and sharp glances, while Caitlin Clark soaked it all in with that trademark cool. Bonner wasn't holding back. She brought the sass, stirred the tea, and spilled it across the court with the kind of razor-sharp precision only a seasoned vet with receipts could pull off.
Angel Reese, part 32, let's get it! This ain't LeBron, this is Butter Pecan! Bang! They want to put her at point forward this season. They want her making plays, because she a playmaker! Bang! That Angel Reese hit a buzzer beater, you gotta check this out! 3, 2, 1, bang! Who cares they lost by 35 points? At least she got her 17 me-bounds! Hey Ma, you got a receipt for this Barbie? I think this one's broken! Send it back!
What began as a standard post-game presser quickly spiraled into a full-blown roast session. And no, the Fever's win wasn't the grand finale, it was just the trailer. The real main event? Bonner calling out Reese and the Sky live and unfiltered. This wasn't just basketball, it was reality TV with a shot clock. And trust, the reruns are going to slap differently.
They make it a hate thing. They make it a hate train. It's no. I'm telling you, if I was the coach or the owner, we forfeit in every game. Either we forfeit or Angel will not be in attendance.
Angel Reese fans is calling race, they're sparking a race war on Twitter right now, and it's starting to get national attention. They're attacking white fans, black fans.
From the opening whistle, the energy in the arena was electric. The air crackled with anticipation, and the Fever stormed out like they were done listening to the doubters. Fast, fierce, and flawlessly precise.
For good position.
Clark pulls, deep one, left wing. Caitlin Clark is her!
Natasha Howard able to lay it in to Boston. Her jumper is good.
I think we have a group that's much like the Pacers. We've got a lot of great balance.
Still on the bounce. 3 seconds to go in the half. Caitlin, left wing, off balance, 3. Got it! Caitlin connects ahead of the halftime buzzer. She is 1 of 1.
Every touch of the ball sent a message. And Caitlin Clark? She didn't just run the offense. She orchestrated a masterpiece. But the real plot twist? Indiana didn't just keep pace with the Sky, they controlled the narrative from start to finish. And DeWanna Bonner? She played like this game had been circled, starred, and marked with revenge in bold, all caps.
DeWanna Bonner, man, Indiana Fever on became the 3rd all-time WNBA leading scorer in history.
Caitlin Clark looks like she's going to be the MVP of the league. Angel Reese made a fool out of herself, and we won by 100, and I won. So we're back in the good mode, back in the winning. Yesterday was tough with the Celtics, but we're back, baby, and it all starts with who? CC, 22, Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese came in with her signature swagger. Big talk, bold moves. But this time, she ran into a different kind of heat. No noise, no theatrics, just ruthless, ice-cold execution. Indiana shut her down like a rumor past its prime. Yeah, she got her double-double, but it felt more like filler than headline. This night belonged to the Fever, and you could feel the power shift in real time. Bonner and Clark didn't just clock in, they took over. And with every step, they sent a clear message to Angel in the sky. This isn't your house.
She had as much passion for basketball as she did for her hate for Caitlin Clark. Gonna get up, scream in her face. You know, you should be thanking her, because you would have missed another wide-open layup. They say, but don't lie. Oh, she gonna cry. Wah, wah. 35% from the field. Trash. She had 5 turnovers. Trash! There are living human beings that breathe, that enjoy this kind of basketball. To the psych ward you go! Burn! It's like driving by a car wreck. I can't help myself. I can't stop watching!
As the game went on, the spotlight didn't stay on Reese because she was dominating. It stayed because she was unraveling. That trademark confidence? It started to splinter. Every awkward drive, every missed chance chipped away at the shine. The fans saw it, her teammates felt it, and Bonner? She didn't just see the cracks, she thrived on them. She turned everyone into fuel.
Much like Donnie Carr, Angel Reese relies on the dramatics to generate attention, because just like Donnie, she can't maintain attention based on skill. And the attention-seeking behavior, it started immediately yesterday as Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado decided that they were going to disrespect the country by refusing to come out for the national anthem. She immediately loses her temper. She could not believe Caitlin Clark stole her moment. Angel Reese gets off the ground very slowly, because everyone seems to be moving in slow motion in the WNBA.
The Angel Reese fan base is full of toxicity right now because they is extremely embarrassed that Angel Reese came to Indiana and laid a goose egg.
It stopped feeling like a game and started reading like a message board. The moment? Bonner ripping the ball from Reese like a pickpocket in Times Square. She glided in for the layup. No grin, no fist pump, just a stare that sliced through Reese like glass. Cold, clinical, legendary. Then came the post-game post, effortlessly flaunting her performance while lacing in a bit of digital shade for Reese and the crew. The timeline didn't just light up, it exploded.
Bonner, who knocks it away. Cookies, DB, open court, right side, and she lays it in.
Reese was left gathering the emotional fragments, no longer in control of the storyline. The spotlight had shifted off her box score and squarely onto Bonner's message. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement carved in bold. A veteran didn't just show up. She took the stage and marked her territory in permanent ink.
One more free throw for Bonner. It's in the air, and it's good. Joanna Bonner now third in WNBA history in scoring. 7,489 points and counting.
And here's the ovation for Bonner.
Reese strutted into the arena like she was writing the script. But from the jump, it was clear. This was a pressure cooker. Every touch brought bodies. Every dribble triggered traps. The Indiana crowd, ruthless. Bonner, even worse. There was no space, no flow, just unrelenting personal feud-level intensity. It felt like the Fever had one mission, erase her from her own highlight reel. Bonner didn't just defend, she composed the entire shutdown. And Clark? She was the calm conductor, dialing up plays while the sky looked like they were stuck in a time warp. What read like a matchup on paper turned into a live clinic in dominance. Reese fought back, snatching boards, chasing loose balls, clawing for momentum like a contestant on a rigged game show. But something was off, and everyone felt it.